There is only one great secret in life, and it is not hidden in the noise of the world, but in the stillness within you. You were not born to be a spectator of other people's stories. You were born to awaken to the truth that your world is yourself pushed out. The moment you turn your gaze inward, the moment you stop measuring your worth by the lives of others, you will feel something ancient and powerful stir within you. Awareness. This talk is not about motivation. It is not about competition. It is about creation. It is about withdrawing your attention from the shadows of comparison and turning fully toward the light of your own imagination. Because everything you seek is already within you. You are the operant power. You are not a passive observer in this life. You are not at the mercy of fate, chance, or the choices of others. You are the operant power, the one who operates reality through your consciousness. This truth may be simple, but it is absolute. Nothing changes unless you change. Your world does not move unless you move within. When you understand this, when you accept this fully, you will no longer waste your precious energy monitoring the lives of others, trying to emulate their path, or competing with shadows. You will turn inward and begin the only true work that exists, the work of self-revelation. Most people are trained to believe in causes outside themselves. They believe the job caused the stress, the partner caused the heartbreak, the economy caused the setback. But you, the one who is awakening, must reject this illusion. The outer is always a reflection of the inner. The cause is not out there. The cause is you. The way you think, feel, assume, and imagine, these invisible movements shape your visible world. This is not theory. This is law. The law of consciousness governs all. To accept yourself as the operant power is to realize that no one is coming to save you because you do not need saving. You need only to recognize your divine authorship. You are the writer, the director, the actor, and the audience. What you affirm inwardly will externalize, sometimes in strange and winding ways, but always with perfect fidelity to your inner state. So if your world is full of conflict, ask not who did this to me, but ask, what have I accepted as true within me? When you shift this responsibility inward, you may feel a wave of resistance. The mind will protest. It is easier to point outward than to pause and reflect. But the moment you claim full authorship of your life, something remarkable begins to unfold. You stop giving power to others. You stop needing permission. You stop chasing validation because you understand that everything you desire is not something you acquire. It is something you awaken. The power is always within you, not in your title, your circumstances, or your reputation, and certainly not in the opinions or behaviors of others. The moment you stop focusing on what others are doing and start asking, what am I imagining right now, your transformation begins. From this moment forward, understand this clearly. You are not reacting to life. You are instructing it. Every thought is a command. Every feeling is a seed. And the world you see is only the harvest. So speak within yourself with intention. Feel with purpose. Assume with faith. For there is no greater power in your world than your own conscious awareness. And you are the one operating it. Imagination is the only reality. Everything you see, every object, every relationship, every event once lived in the invisible realm of thought. Imagination is not idle daydreaming. It is not fantasy or escape. It is the creative act itself. The world around you, with all its weight and form, is nothing but the hardened shadow of your inner vision. When you understand that imagination is the only reality, you begin to live consciously, purposefully, no longer drifting through life reacting to appearances, but creating from within. The great illusion of life is that what is outside is more real than what is inside. But this is reversed. The senses deceive. They report what was, not what is becoming. To dwell only on what your eyes see is to worship the past. But imagination deals with the present moment, the eternal now, and from this sacred space, it draws forth the unseen into being. When you imagine a thing clearly, feel it deeply, and persist in that state, you summon it from the formless into the formed. It is not your effort or your struggle that brings things to pass. It is your assumption. What you accept as true in imagination becomes truth in the world. There is no other maker, no other cause. You need not concern yourself with how or when. Imagination does not move through logic or linear time. It moves through states of consciousness. Assume a new state inwardly, and the outer world will inevitably conform. You are not required to fight against your current reality, only to stop feeding it with your attention. Withdraw your energy from what you do not want and give it wholly to what you choose to imagine. This is why focusing on others is such a subtle trap. When your attention is fixed on what others are doing, what they have, how they succeed, how they fail, you are no longer the master of your world. You are giving your creative power to their image, their state, their story, and whatever you give attention to, you give life to. So why breathe life into someone else's reality when you can create your own? Imagination is your sacred instrument. It is your workshop, your temple, your power. It does not matter where you are or what limitations appear before you. You are always free to imagine. And what you imagine is never in vain. Every mental image impressed with feeling is a seed. The moment you truly feel it to be real, you have planted it in the field of consciousness, and its harvest is certain. To live by imagination is not to deny reality. It is to reshape it. It is to remember that you are not a prisoner of circumstance, but a builder of it. So do not wait for the world to change. Enter the change in imagination now. Walk in it. Feel it. Assume it. Because imagination is not a tool. It is the substance of reality itself, and you are its master. What you observe in others is a reflection of you. There are no others. This may sound strange, even offensive to the rational mind, but it is a truth known to the awakened. Every person you meet is showing you yourself. Your world is not separate from you. It is your consciousness made visible, your beliefs in human form. Every face you encounter is a mirror. Every reaction you have toward another is not about them. It is a message about you. When you look at someone and admire their confidence, their beauty, their success, you are recognizing a dormant potential within yourself. What you can see clearly in another, you hold in some measure within. You would not even notice it if it weren't already part of you. Likewise, when you judge someone, resent someone, or envy someone, you are exposing a belief, fear, or doubt rooted in your own self-concept. This is not a cause for shame. It is an invitation. Life is not showing you others to make you feel lesser or greater. It is showing you your current state, reflected through relationships and events, so that you may become conscious of what you are accepting as true. If someone triggers you, ask, what belief in me are they revealing? If someone inspires you, ask, what possibility within me are they reflecting? There is no outer world apart from your assumptions. The people in your life are drawn to you by the magnet of your inner state. You attract not who you want, but who you are, or rather who you believe yourself to be. If your life is filled with criticism, betrayal, rejection, it is not because others are cruel by nature. It is because in some quiet corner of your mind, you have accepted that version of reality as normal, expected, or deserved. And so the world, being your servant, reflects it faithfully. This is why it is so essential to focus on yourself rather than others. You cannot change them, but you can change you. And when you do, the world you experience will transform as naturally as a shadow shifts when the light is moved. There is no need to argue, to persuade, to complain. Simply assume a new version of yourself, one who is loved, confident, abundant, free, and the characters in your life will rise to meet that assumption or fade away. This is not manipulation, it is revelation. You are not bending others to your will, you are revealing the truth of your inner state through them. The world obeys the self-concept you carry in silence. Change your concept of self, and you will change how the world treats you. So look gently at others. They are not your enemies, nor your saviors. They are mirrors, nothing more. And the only way to see something new in them is to become something new in yourself. Assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. The greatest secret of transformation lies not in effort, not in striving, not in endless seeking, but in a simple inward shift to assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled. This is the spiritual art of living, not as the person who wants, but as the person who has. Not as one waiting for change, but as one who already is what they desire to be. Desire itself is holy. It is not to be crushed or dismissed. Desire is the language of the soul, the whisper of your higher self calling you toward your potential. But desire must be completed by belief. It is not enough to want a new life. You must enter it in consciousness. You must occupy it within, feel it, live from it, and breathe in it before it appears. The only true question is, can I assume it to be true here and now without waiting for physical evidence? The moment you do this, the moment you assume the state of your wish fulfilled, a shift occurs in your inner world. And because consciousness is the only reality, the outer world has no choice but to bend toward this new self-concept. This is not pretending. Pretending knows it is false. Assumption believes it is real. You must lose all concern for how and when. Let those questions go. The outer world is not your domain. Your domain is within. In your imagination, you're feeling your conviction. And in that secret place, you are free. So how do you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled? You begin with stillness. You withdraw attention from appearances and from others. You quiet the senses and turn inward. You imagine not the process, but the result. You see yourself already in possession of what you desire, not hoping, but knowing, not asking, but receiving. You feel it as though it were happening now. You allow yourself to dwell in the end, not just in images, but in emotion. What would it feel like if it were already done? Peaceful, joyful, secure? Rest in that feeling. This is not a one-time ritual. This is a way of being. Every time you return to doubt or fear, gently guide yourself back to your inner state. Say to yourself, it is done, not because you're trying to force it, but because you trust the unseen process. The seed grows in the dark. You do not need to dig it up to check its progress. You only need to nurture it with continued belief. When you focus on others, who has what, who is doing better, who is ahead, you are stepping out of your own state. You are placing your attention where it has no creative power. Others can only mirror your current self-concept. Do not chase shadows. Instead, return to the feeling of your own fulfilled desire. Sit in it. Breathe in it. Let it become more real to you than the evidence of your senses. You do not need the world's permission to feel successful, loved, wealthy, or free. You do not need to wait for someone to grant you approval before you walk in confidence. The world will only confirm what you already assume to be true. So assume wisely, assume boldly, assume lovingly. The person you wish to become is not far from you. It already exists in the unseen, and your assumption is the bridge that brings it forth. Doubt is natural at first. The senses will scream. It's not real yet, but you are not ruled by appearances. You are the cause of appearances. As you persist in assuming the end, the world around you begins to shift subtly, then suddenly. People change, opportunities arise, paths clear, not because you forced anything, but because you changed your inner stance. And remember, you are not pretending to be something you are not. You are revealing something you have always been. The assumption is not a mask. It is an unveiling. You are not becoming worthy. You are discovering that you always were. So assume the feeling now, not tomorrow, not after proof, now, and live from that state in thought, in word, in being. Let the world catch up. It always does. Because when you live from the wish fulfilled, life becomes a mirror faithfully reflecting back the truth you dared to believe within.